Mind Gap Podcast.
Hey everybody, welcome to Mind Gap Podcast. I'm Doug.
I'm Justin.
And we are joined again, a return guest, someone who's been here I think at least twice before. He is a producer.
Twice.
He is a director. He is a writer, ? I believe so. Please welcome back Adam Smestad.
Hey!
Thanks
I
for
wasn't
being
expecting the fanfare from the kids.
Always.
Yes. We
Yes.
have a gaggle of kids always on the ready to cheer for you.
Things that Matt Gaetz hopes for, am I right? Political humor. Bow.
Wait, where is it? Hey, we're here all night.
Take it. Get off Twitch, you pedophile. Anyway, just saw that he was like launching his Twitch stuff on there and it didn't go well for him. So hopefully it never does.
Is he going to do the hot tub streams?
God, I hope so. Now we're talking. Now we're
I
talking.
would love to see Matt Gaetz in a hot tub.
Oh, now we're talking.
Oh my God.
You think, hey guys, I just want to, chill out with you, and I just want to talk a little bit about politics in the hot tub. It's just as he's responding to chat.
He has a face. He has a face that screams, "Do you know who my father is?"
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, like he really.
He also has a face that looks like he maybe missed a step in evolution from like Cro-Magnon to regular humans. Just like he's got that forehead that could just break a wall.
He's got a fake forehead that could break a wall. I need to remember that one.
Yeah.
I was going to say similarly, he's got a face that when he was playing catch as a kid, he ran head first into the wall. So you and I were in the same position.
He looks like he could maybe be a dwarf character in the Rings of Power, just like without the prosthetics,
Right.
Or maybe he's a half something, half orc, maybe half troll. I don't know. Like he's just got something,
Yeah.
But anyway, we're so glad that you're here, Adam.
Hey,
We're glad you're here and Matt Gaetz is not here. That's really what the moral of this is.
Adam, since the last time you were here, we've gotten very political on the show.
Yes.
apparently, yeah.
Made some jokes before we started rolling and here we are. But before we really get started, we've got a question from one of our fans in the chat who asked this question to everyone. Who is your favorite Pokemon?
Oh, who is my favorite Pokemon? I think its name is Ghastly. I was gonna say Pikachu. I feel like everybody's gonna say Pikachu or whatever. Like, is it Ghastly, one of the ghost ones? It's been a while. It's been a hot minute since I was involved in the Pokemon Go or any of that stuff. I think that was my favorite one.
I'm gonna be honest with you. You could say anything, Adam, and Justin and I wouldn't know.
I would not.
We are not Pokemon
Either
aficionados.
Ghastly or Reebok.
There we go. Yeah, sponsored. Sponsored with good partnership with Nintendo, Reebok.
Yeah.
Zinni the other day, she sent me a DM on our Discord and was like, "Hey, if I sent you like a list of pictures of all the Pokemon, do you think you could pick your favorite based on that?" And I was like, "Abso-fucking-lutely." And I don't even remember which one I picked, but I picked the one that looked the sexiest. And
That's fair.
Apparently, it wasn't him being sexy. It was him being lazy. Here we go. His name is... The fuck is this thing's name?
Snorlax.
It's slacking or slaking. I don't know. But it's hot, man. It's a hot one. I'm gonna share this with the people watching. You can see it. It's a hot boy. I picked him because he looks like he's laying there rubbing his belly like, come here. You want to check this out.
Not safe for work Pokemon.
Yeah. He's like,
Pokemon After Dark.
His species is lazy Pokemon. And
100% a Rule 34 for that.
Apparently he's a very tanky Pokemon, but he falls asleep. So he's a risky guy. So
well,
he's tough.
That happens sometimes.
That happens. So,
That will happen.
but thank you for sharing your favorite Pokemon. That Zinni is happy. She's very.
You've made Zinni happy. Yes.
She says Ghastly is fair, so she approves. So
Thank you.
way to go.
All right.
That's all right. Yay. That's the good stuff right there. So we got some
I'm
cool
just
stuff
surprised that you were able to name one. Like I was like a Kirby. I don't know.
I was like, again, you could make anything up, you know.
Yeah.
And I've been like that sounds like one. That sounds real. We could do that.
Sure. Yeah.
But we got some cool stuff to talk about here. So let's do some housekeeping real quick, and then we'll get to it. So we'll make this real quick. Check us out on our YouTube page, youtube.com/mindgappodcast. Like and subscribe. Gang, quick subscriber story. Last week, when we were recording this, we were at 217 subscribers. At some point over a 7-day period, we went from 217 to a height of 254. And now we're back down to 222. I don't know what the fuck happened. But Justin, I was furiously typing him updates being like, I don't know what's going on right now because our viewers have not gone up, but our subscribers have shot through the roof. And then they would like dip and then they go back up. And now we're at 222, which I think feels more realistic. So if you subbed and you stayed with us, thanks.
Doug doesn't trust anything when it comes to the internet. Everything is suspect to him.
That's very fair.
Anything that the numbers didn't add up. It's like we posted like our episode, but there was nothing extravagant. Usually we'll pick up, a sub or a follower here or there when we post a short or a reel or whatever. But I was like, we haven't really changed anything. And there's just this huge spike. I'm like, what's going on? I don't trust this. I'm suspicious. And I was right. So again. So anyway, but if you have subscribed, great. And if you haven't, you should check us out. Hit the subscribe button, hit like. We'd appreciate it. And if you watch our episode, if you watch it live, just drop a comment down below. Your favorite emoji. You tell us what you like about Adam. Why do you think he's so cool? I think he's cool because he's a talented human being. And you're going to learn more about him in just a second if you haven't already. So check us out there. Be sure, if you want to support us, you can follow us on all our social medias at Mind Gap Podcast. You can support us on Patreon, patreon.com/mindgappodcast. You can check out our merch at redbubble.com. If you want to hang out with cool people like Zinni and Jerbus and other cool folks, join our Discord. The link is in the description down below. You can hang out with us. Join us for our video game nights, which I host on Saturdays at 8 p.m. Central. You can also check us out on Tuesdays at 7 p.m. Central, where we host the live stream of the podcast, which is super exciting. Last Saturday, we did the Jackbox Games night, and it got just absolutely dirty, D-U-R-T-T-T-Y, dirty. And I'm going to hopefully put together a little highlight reel. No short is going to cover the depravity that we got to. So I think I'm just going to do a highlight reel of some of those moments. Noah is not going to like it because Noah was the butt of many jokes. So stay tuned for that. That'll be coming. But anywho, that's all of our housekeeping.
Adam and I have some housekeeping real
quick. Of course. No. Don't you dare lump that in with housekeeping. This is an announcement.
It is an announcement. Adam and I wanted to get this in at the very top so people heard it before all the plugs at the back and everyone's like, yeah, we're done.
Hold on. Let's give us the prompt and circumstance that it deserves. One second.
This is a Mind Gap exclusive.
I'm so glad you have that now.
This is what I do sometimes when I should be working.
All right. So Adam and I are producing a film called Love and Improv. You've probably heard me talk about it before. It is our 2 East Date's first feature film, and Adam and Smoose Entertainment has jumped on board, and he's helping us produce it, along with Kara Haller and Stephen, is it Rudinsky?
Raminsky.
And it's we're really excited about it. Right now, we are doing our Seed and Spark crowdfunding campaign. Okay, and so that means that we need people to help us raise some money because making a movie is expensive, and it's also a team effort. We want you to join our team. We want you to be part of our team, and the way that you be part of our team is you donate. Right now, you can donate $1, you can donate $5, $10, $20, $1 million, whatever your financial situation dictates. You can donate that, but we have a special offer for the Mind Gap audience. And Adam, I'm going to let you take it away.
Yeah, I'm putting my body on the line for this one. So what I said is, so for every $100 that the Mind Gap podcast audience donates, I will take a 1 ounce shot of the scorpion pepper Tabasco sauce. If the Mind Gap podcast people can raise $2,000 amongst them all over the course of the next week, I will come back and join you guys for whatever amount of time you guys want to dedicate to me. I will do the Pocky 1 chip challenge. I have done half of a chip before. It sucks. But I will be happy to put my pain and my suffering on display for you guys. It is nuts. I think we can do this. I think it'll be fun. So come watch me hurt my stomach.
So there you go. So for every dollar, or sorry, for every dollar, no, every $100 raised by the Mind Gap crew, the community that we have, Adam will do an ounce. You said 1 ounce shot.
1 ounce shot of the scorpion pepper Tabasco, which is
there you go. And if within a week from when this airs, we can raise $2,000, he will do the 1 chip challenge on air with us live on the stream. And you know what? If we go for 2,500, he'll put some of the Tabasco sauce on the chip. How about that?
Man.
At that point in time, really. And,
Gives a shit at that point.
It's like throwing a Molotov cocktail after, a nuclear bomb. Like at that point in time, whatever.
Who cares?
Yeah.
Well, that's exciting.
Yes.
So that the challenge yes, go ahead. Tell us, how could they donate to make this happen?
So you can go to on Instagram, my bio, Adam's bio, Two East States, all of our bios have the link in the profile. You can also go to loveandimprovfilm.com. That's loveandimprovfilm.com, all spelled out. And on there's a link to the Seed and Spark campaign. You can also go to seedandspark.com and search Love and Improv. So there's many ways to get there. And Mind Gap will do some posts about it. We'll remind you guys on social media, throw the link up there. But yes, if you guys can go to loveandimprov.com, there's a link to our crowdfunding campaign, and the gauntlet has been thrown down. You guys have 1 week to make this happen. I want to see Adam cry. So please help us make this happen.
More importantly, I want to see what it does to his butt. So
yes. If you guys raise $3,000, Adam will show you his butthole on air.
If you guys raise $3,000, I will come back on from the bathroom.
There we go.
At the next episode.
Now we're talking.
There it is. Yeah.
Do another follow-up and be like, all right, guys, it's hitting. Go live. And I'll talk to you through the door.
Right.
Oh, God. Oh,
listen,
God.
It's a noble cause, all right,
yes.
gang? It's a noble cause, a noble reason. In all seriousness, support this. Support this stuff. I'm super excited for all of you. I can't wait to see you all make this, and I'm super pumped. So this is very exciting.
The other thing, to prove that it came from the Mind Gap community, if you can I don't think there's a way to make a comment when you donate. If there is, just type in Mind Gap in the comment. But if not, take a quick screenshot of that and just DM us on Twitter, on Insta. You can DM Mind Gap on Instagram, on Twitter, on Discord. However if you know us, you can text us. Just send us the donation and we'll compile all the DMs and the images that we get and we'll put it up there. So there you go.
That's what Adam's going to be doing.
Yep.
So
putting it up there.
That's exciting. That's super exciting.
There you go.
Well, that's great. So thank you for doing that off the top. I'm super excited. You guys have been doing a great campaign so far. I can't wait to see how much you all raise, and I hope we go above and beyond your goal. So this is super cool. Obviously. Yeah. Us too. Adam, for the folks that may not know you, tell everyone a little bit about yourself. Who you are, what you're doing, and, what's going on, man?
Yeah. So, I'm Adam. That is a great way to start. No, I am a writer, producer, director. We are working on this Love and Improv film. I've put together a couple of short films on my own. I was here, I think, the first time I was promoting. My first one was 6 months in 2063. I did a supernatural horror movie called Shorts. Supernatural short film called Stairs, which is up on my YouTube channel.
Which is
And then I've got another
awesome,
one
by
coming
the way.
out called, thank you. You have to say that because I'm here.
I do.
And then I got another one that we just shot. It's in post-production called Nice House, which was cool. It's the first time I get to film. We get to kill a guy with a chainsaw. Like, movie kill a guy with a chainsaw. The guy's fine. He's walking around. He's cool. But yeah, we got to use a blood cannon, which I didn't know was a thing. Oh my God, it was.
That's
I
awesome.
can say my life. My wife's not here, so I can say that. It was awesome.
That's amazing. That's so cool.
That's incredible.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm just
Very
realizing
cool.
the last time you were here was episode 276, so it's almost been 100 episodes since
Jesus Christ.
we had you on here. So yeah, we were
Yeah.
long overdue.
Yeah, I'm like a 100-year flood. I come around every 100.
Yeah, last time you were here, we talked about the KFC's Lifetime movie. So
Oh
Oh my
God.
God.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
right.
that was a while ago. That was a
We should
minute.
all follow up with that, and we should. You know what we should have done was we should have all watched it for this episode.
Yeah,
Done a-
I think Adam's already potentially going to be putting his body through a lot of pain. I don't think we need to add that to it as well. We don't need mental anguish to go on top of that. It seems a bit much, a bit overkill.
I'm holding out for the Popeyes chicken romantic comedy.
Now we're
Yeah.
talking.
And, yeah.
Yeah,
I feel like that's the next one after Love and Improv. That's what we need to tuck into.
yeah.
Yeah, let's just go through all the chicken restaurants. Love that, loving it. Popeyes.
Do some browns. Yeah.
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 Now we're talking.
Ugh.
Blech.
It's a
So
terrible name for a restaurant, Browns.
I know,
Right? Yeah.
not great,
No.
not great stuff. Almost as bad as UPS's, tagline, which is "What can Brown do for you?" And it's like nothing good, nothing good, sir. And like, look, I get it. You guys are brown. That's your logo, but come on, that's the best you got.
Come on.
How about we won't break your stuff? We'll get it to you.
They're not
time.
allowed to legally say that though.
We won't break it. We won't do it
We might
intentionally.
not break your stuff.
It'll get there. How about it'll get there?
It'll get UPS. It'll get there.
UBS. It'll get there.
Yes, eventually.
Eventually, yeah. Adam, you're doing something though that I find incredible is that you are throwing yourself head on into a career in filmmaking, and really going for it. Like you're shifting the main focus, the 9 to 5, if you will, towards ever surely towards the realm of just doing filmmaking. And I'm floored that in Denver this is possible. I didn't realize that the scene was so hot out there. Can you talk just a little bit about what that journey's been like, what you've experienced, what made you do it, and how you're going about it for anyone who is listening that might need that little shot of inspiration?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, so I didn't mention it. So I am a licensed and practicing attorney for the maybe remaining 3 months, but I am transitioning out of that stable job and going headfirst into the filmmaking industry. So I started actually in like 2018 working as a PA, and worked on set. And this was in Chicago. Chicago's a major market, so I was getting quite a bit of work. And then obviously the pandemic happened and whatever, life sucked. But we moved here in Colorado. We're just outside of Boulder. We moved in January of 2021. And actually that first year, I was quite nervous because it's a minor market, but that first year I was busy. I worked on an independent film that was shot out in the mountains out here. And then I worked on, there's a lot of Hallmark movies that get filmed out here. Hallmark, for lack of a better word, but that brand.
Yeah. Uh-oh.
Dang it.
Lost him.
Lost him again.
You know what it
Damn.
was? The Hallmark people.
Yeah, they're like, take it
They
down.
heard. They were like, nope. They
he said we don't actually, Hallmark doesn't actually operate out of there, but you're using our name. That's
Right.
slander.
They immediately contacted Google and said, hey, shut this down.
Shut that shit down.
Cut his
These assholes are doing us dirty, and I don't like it.
Cut the feed. Cut the feed.
Cut the goddamn feed. But it's okay because he has the power to bring himself back, like the hero that he is.
Hey,
There he is.
Maybe.
He said, "Hey," and then just disappeared again. Wait. Is this time the
I can
charm?
hear you guys. Oh, there.
Hey, there he is.
Perfection.
I can hear you guys. I can see. Okay, there we go.
There we are.
Yeah, that's where I left off.
So
Yeah.
Hallmark-esque movies.
Hallmark-esque movies. So I did a couple of those, and then the thing is like there is a lot of talented filmmakers out here. Like some incredibly great cinematographers, gaffers, actors, writers, directors, that sort of thing. There's just not a lot of people that film out here, and I don't get it. It is beautiful. Just take your camera and point it to the west, and like production value. It's gorgeous. So I think we're working on pushing some more, getting some more big stuff to come out here, come out of the Colorado scene. But it's ripe for a comeback. I think it's ripe to be the next Atlanta.
Nice.
That's awesome.
Well, it's also, I know, like a lot of folks, for a while there, I think before the pandemic, like Colorado was sort of the getaway for LA. A lot of folks were like, man, it's a nice place to go. It's chill. It's less populous. It's, better just wildlife and just nature in general. I think it was kind of the stopover. And then I think Boise, oddly enough, in Idaho became the next place where people are like, I'm going to fucking Idaho. And people are like, really? They're like, yeah, it's like the not so hidden secret anymore. So I could see how there could be, relatively close proximity and that, people go there and, are maybe setting up shop to do more projects. And like you said, I mean, you can't beat the scenery there. I mean, geez, it's fantastic. It's amazing. That's really cool that you're in a good spot. You're primed. You're ready. You're prepped.
Yeah.
You're ready to strike. Impressive.
Yeah.
Very aggressive. I like it. I'm ready to strike. Yeah. We got it.
Yeah.
So, what made you fully be like, all right, I'm leaving the stability of the lawyer life to go into film?
Yeah, that's a good question. I always wanted to do, this was always where I wanted to end up. Like I've got this little drawing back here was something that I made when I was I think it was second grade. And it says, what do you want to be when you grow up? And I wrote movie director and I misspelled everything and it was cute.
That's awesome.
So it's something I always wanted to do, but growing up in the Midwest, it wasn't really an option. My parents were very practical. They're like, get a real job. Yeah. So, I went to law school, and I practiced for a while. It was fun. Sorry, I should take that back. It wasn't fun. I practiced for a while. I made some money. It was good, but it was always like a means to an end. And, I finally got to that point where things have been taken off. I've actually been working more as a filmmaker this year than I have as an attorney. It's about time to just pull the cord and give it my all, make it happen.
That's exciting, man. I'm really happy for you. I'm glad that you found your passion and that you're listening to the calls of the wild. And, because you kind of have to do that, Justin told me a long time ago at some point, it's kind of shit or get off the pot sort of, you can't just be like dabbling. You got to fully commit one way or the other. So I'm happy for you. I think this is great that you're doing what you love, and it seems like you got, a lot of opportunities ahead of you.
Yeah. Thank you. I think I do.
I think it's the easiest thing in the world to say, right? Like logically that, at some point you've got to, like Adam, you said, pull the ripcord and just be like, all right, this is it. We're going all in, but man, when you've got that steady paycheck, it's just so hard to upend that, that solid ground that you're standing on. And so I know that's something that we're in our different times, we've all hit or are hitting that. And it's just that siren song of like, come to the creative side, do this. It's so tempting. It's so tempting, and it's terrifying at the same time.
For sure. Oh no, we lost your audio again. What in the world?
Is that better?
I hear you. I can hear you.
My goal is to make sure that we have technical difficulties during this show as possible. So I think I'm doing a good job.
Doing great.
I was saying it's fun. It's really fun. The creative side, it's just really, it's not very stable, and it is a lot of work. And I think it's a lot more work than people think. I think there's a lot of people out there who are just like, I had a good idea. I can do it. I can make it happen. It takes a lot of work to actually make something of quality. It starts with a good idea, but like, you know, who do you got to know who to hire and who you need to hire. And what you don't know is mostly, I think, is the biggest thing.
It's the unsexy side of the industry. Like a lot of people think like, oh, you know, I'm gonna sit down for a month and I'm gonna write out this great story, and then we're gonna go to set and we're gonna have actors and cameras and action, and then I'm gonna go to Acapulco and I'm gonna relax for a few months while the next idea hits me. And that may be true for the big name people, but when you're an indie filmmaker, man, it is like you got the idea, you write the script, and they're like, all right, now the hard work starts. You know?
Yeah. It's fun. It's fun though.
It is.
I encourage people to do it.
So you obviously have a love of horror. What about
I do
horror films like tickles your fancy?
Honestly, I like you get such an opportunity to be really creative with horror movies. Because they don't have to be grounded in reality, and even almost by definition, they can't be grounded in reality. I honestly could not watch horror movies until I was 16 years old. Like I was too nightmares. Oh my God. But I was so fascinated about it. I would always talk to my friends and I'd say, you know, like they'd go, oh yeah, I saw Friday the 13th part 4 the other day. And I'm like, I couldn't watch it. It's too scary. Tell me what happened. Tell me everything. Yes, I'd like live vicariously through that. Even stuff like I'm not a big gore. I'm not big into gore, but like I will, if there's a horror movie comes out, I will, if it's too gory and not something I'd like to watch, I will read the Wikipedia article about it. Like I know what happens in all 3 human centipedes. Never seen them, but I've read the Wikipedia.
But you know how it goes. Yeah.
Same. I did the exact same thing because I didn't want to watch it. Hagen and I, during work one day, spent like an hour and I just read off the Wikipedia pages and we discussed it. Yeah. It was. Yeah. You're like, I know the struggle. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. So I that's what I really dig. I really dig horror. I'm particularly enthralled with old school, like 80s slasher type and supernatural horror. That's my jam.
So you must be familiar with the Winnie the Pooh horror movie that's coming out.
I'm so excited for Winnie the Pooh, Blood and Honey.
Yes. So for those that are listening, if you're not familiar, Winnie the Pooh, at least some iteration of that character has gone into public domain. And the moment that happened, a couple of indie filmmakers were like, well, we're going to make a horror movie about Winnie the Pooh. And it's called Winnie the Pooh, Blood and Honey. And it's a slasher film. And essentially, Pooh and Piglet go on a rampage. Yep. And it is seems like it hits a lot of the, I watched the teaser for it, and it seems like it checks a lot of those boxes. Kind of like the synopsis is that Christopher Robin, has these great, creatures over in Thousand Acre Wood, but he goes to college and he leaves them behind, and then they turn feral because they run out of food. So they start like murdering things, and they start getting a taste for human flesh, and they start murdering people. And, we kind of get to see as a couple of young group of people go to stay up near 100 Acre or 1,000 Acre Wood, whatever it is. And they encounter Pooh and Piglet, and, shit goes awry. It's kind of like the synopsis for it. I love the idea of this. I love the idea of taking a concept and like just flipping around. Like, was it Abraham Lincoln Vampire Hunter? Yes. Or was it Pride, Prejudice, and Zombies, or whatever it is? Like, just the idea of taking something, you're like, let's just take this kind of fun angle on it. This is obviously a low budget film. The visuals don't do much for me based on the teaser. I think this was filmed in like 10 days. It was very quick, very low budget. I think Pooh and Piglet are the most distracting things for me, because as I watch them in the trailer, I'm like, are these supposed to be animals? Because they just seem like dudes in masks. and they look like dudes in masks, so I don't believe for a second that this is not a dude in a mask, you know?
I will say that as much as they look like dudes in masks, they're horrifying.
Oh, of course.
Like, imagery is just gross.
Yeah, it's a Winnie the Pooh mask, and it's just sitting there smiling as this guy goes to like saw someone in half. You know, like it's terrifying, and it looks like a boar that's going to eat people and whatnot. So I don't know. It looks, I don't know. Again, execution wise, who knows? But I absolutely applaud people making stuff like this. I think it's really cool.
Yeah, I think it was a rush because it was the rights to the characters went public domain. You can't use Disney's image of them.
Correct.
That's still, but the rights of the characters, and I think it had to have been a rush to be like, we got to be the first people to get something Winnie the Pooh related out. But it is, it's, you know, from the trailers, it's got it hits all the marks you need for a slasher. It's got young, attractive people in the woods, and there's an axe somewhere, and it's gonna be. It's probably gonna be. I don't want to say. I don't know the filmmakers, but it's probably gonna be. It'll be entertaining, regardless.
Yeah, there's a girl in jacuzzi. You know, check that box. You know, like there's all sorts of stuff. So
yeah, I want to know how they address, or if they address, because Piglet turning into a full-fledged wild boar. There's a jump, like Winnie the Pooh. You can see maybe that the steps he took to get to where he's at, but Piglet went from like this sweet little piglet to he grew tusks and now he's kind of gray. I'm just kind of curious to see if they address his mutation, if you will.
They won't. I'll just tell you that now. They won't.
That would be, if I were making this film, I would have gotten hung up on that.
Well, I would have loved to see, because obviously, you know, I think to them it's probably more important that they stick to some of the iconic looks. There we go. Thank you. I was like, I got tripped up, and I'm like, and I lost my confidence. But you know, Winnie the Pooh is a very defined look, whereas Piglet is kind of a pig, and I actually kind of appreciate what they did because he's got the tusks and the fro. But I would have loved to have seen like a more feral Winnie the Pooh. Winnie the Pooh's just got a oh, don't bother, I'm gonna eat you, you know, kind of look on his face. I would have loved to see maybe a little more, I don't know, just feral bear, you know, and that could be really interesting if they done did that. But yeah, it's interesting to say the least. Yeah. I'm curious. What other stuff would you love to see like this? Like what other, like whether it's children's properties, whether it's, you know, stuff that's just been owned by a corporation for so many years, it's just like, God, if I had the chance to take this property and do my own horror movie with it, your own horror movie spin, what would you like to do, and with what property?
Oh, holy cow, that's a good question. I always kind of thought that like Mary Poppins would be a really interesting like home invasion.
There you go.
Horror movie right there, you know?
Have you ever seen, you know, the guys that recut the trailers? Like they redid The Shining as a rom-com. They did one where Mary Poppins is a horror movie. Like where Bert at the beginning, they have this eerie music and he's like, wind's blowing in. Like, and then it's like they have like that, like the string, you know, something's beginning. Like the little thing that he does in the beginning, it's fucking terrifying. And to make it like a home invasion, like a safe room type thing would be be terrifying. Yeah.
Or like what was that movie that the one where the kids go stay with the grandparents for a while, then it turns out, spoiler alert, that it's not their grandparents. Like,
was an M. Night Shyamalan one, right?
I think it was, yeah. Like something like that. Like where the kids are like, oh, this is our babysitter, and then mom's like,
Cat in the Hat.
Babysitter's a guy, and then
Cat in the Hat. That would be pretty wild.
Anything Dr. Seuss would be terrifying. I want to see the Lorax go off and like get revenge. You know,
right?
Let's just be there. Yeah.
Because you're kind of rooting for the Lorax at some point. You know? As it's going after, because it's like
starts murdering loggers.
You Disturbing news today as another corporate logger was found dead in his home, just shredded by what appears to be some sort of mechanical item. And detectives are absolutely confused. You're hearing this in the background as you see the Lorax like out in his like cut down woods, just like sharpening a blade. Shink, you know, and then cuts to this thing. He just kind of closes in. He turns around. He's covered in blood and he's holding something. And he's like, "Who will speak for the trees?" The Lorax.
The Lorax.
This Christmas.
Starring Danny DeVito.
Yeah, exactly, right?
Reprising his role, but just slightly different.
Right. That would be awesome.
They've done stuff like this. Like I know they've played with this story, but I would love a crack at doing something really just different and twisted with it. It was Peter Pan.
Oh yeah.
Like I know there's been a few different takes on that story and those characters, but that I think if someone really had the focus and did it right, that would be terrifying.
Because what if Peter Pan was actually like kidnapping kids?
Right.
You know,
that's what I'm saying.
Like he doesn't want to be alone, so he kidnaps kids and he brings them back to Neverland, and they forget about everything, and he just keeps doing it, and he's And
Neverland is just like. It's kind of like Uncle Doug's Puzzle Basement.
Okay.
In that
if we want to go there, sure.
I'm just saying, it's just got like, it's, you know what? It's like Black Mask. Is that the new Ethan Hawke?
Oh, yeah. I want to see that movie.
Yeah.
It's like Black Mask meets Peter Pan.
Black Phone
meets Peter Pan. Yeah.
Yeah. No, it'd be an interesting spin on it where it's like you slowly, it starts with the story that It's like, oh, it's Peter Pan and he's so cool. But then you start like learning clues. Like Wendy starts figuring out like, wait a second. You do what now? He's like, yeah, we're going to go get more kids. It's like, wait, what? It's like, we got to fight the pirates. And the pirates were people that he kidnapped too, just to be like his enemies. And
the pirates are a rival. They're a drug gang, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. And then Tinkerbell's just a prostitute.
There you go.
That hangs out with Peter Pan. Yeah.
Yeah. And just it's almost like there's that the movie The Twilight Zone where I don't know if you guys have seen that from like the late 80s, early 90s. But there's a story in there where there's a little boy that can control reality, and he does something similar where he like convinces people to like he'll be like, oh, help me, and they do, and he brings them back to his home, and like he controls the reality of the home, and people that displease him he'll put into like a cartoon where they get eaten, and he takes away someone's mouth at one point in time because it's very like disturbing, but you kind of take that sort of angle with it too.
Pulled some inspiration from all these other ones.
Yeah, it was good.
It's just like, where are you going, Wendy? Pulls out his dagger,
Michael.
There's a series of these movies I used to watch when I was in high school. All the covers, they would straight to video. All the covers of the DVDs have like our holograms, so you like tilt it this way.
Yes.
Face changes. They had Uncle Sam was one because they always use popular comic characters. There was Uncle Sam was one. There was Jack Frost, not to be confused with the Michael Keaton one. A couple other ones, but like they were all the Uncle Sam one was far and away the best in a bad way. It was so entertaining. It has Isaac Hayes in it. And the premise is a very patriotic soldier in the Gulf War gets killed by friendly fire, but he comes back and they never explain why he comes back as a zombie, but he just does. And he comes back as a zombie, dresses like Uncle Sam, and kills people who insult America.
Boy, it sounds like that movie is going to get remade any day now.
Right?
Any day now.
Starring Matt Gates.
Yeah, right. Matt Gates.
It is 90 minutes or whatever it is of just glory.
I would hope it's not longer than 90 minutes. It seems like a lot.
It's so good.
Yeah,
it's
so good.
3 hours and 42 minutes of it's the director's cut.
Yeah, I would love to see basically any kids franchise. It would be really fun. I mean, I often joke as I watch some of the kids shows that my daughter watches, and I'm, like PJ Masks is the one I railed about for a while. I'm like, oh, these kids are dead. They're in purgatory because there's no other parents, and we don't see these kids' parents, so they're obviously they've died at some point in time, and they're stuck. They're the same age forever and ever, and they're fighting criminals who are also bad. Or they're children. So I was like, oh yeah, all these kids died. I created this thing where it's like, oh, they died in a bus accident or something like that, and they're all just stuck and living in this reality until they can try to either go to hell or heaven. It's just, stuff like that. These shows suck, so you got to do something. Except for Bluey. Bluey's awesome. Bluey's an awesome show. I stand by it. Thank you, Jared, for sharing that with us. But yeah, it's
Yeah. Blue's Clues. Blue's Clues would be a great, not like really a horror movie. That'd be a great like crime thriller, like Seven.
Right.
Like
oh
Seven?
my God. Just Blue and Steve are just grizzled detectives solving murders.
right.
Blue's got a drinking problem. Yeah.
He's like, bow.
That would be fun. Right? Like, how could you take some of these? Oh, yeah. I'm just thinking of like what like Disney cartoon could you take and make just, you know, so adult, but in a, like, I don't know, how could you take The Little Mermaid and turn it into something like Master and Commander, you know, where they're like,
genre blend.
yeah,
oh,
right? Oh, that'd be so much fun. I love it.
That would be a blast.
I love stuff like this. I just absolutely love, Blood and Honey, Winnie the Pooh, Blood and Honey. I applaud anyone who worked on that and put that into motion. I think it's really cool that they're doing stuff like this, and I wish them all the best. It may not be a movie for me, but I give you a thumbs up. So keep making fun stuff like that. Justin, I've got something special. Speaking of like fun, like holiday stuff, I've got something new.
All right. You teased this and would not give me any clue as to what it was. So I've been dying all day to know what this is.
This is a Mind Gap exclusive.
That is going to pay its way.
You're goddamn right it is. So you all, Justin, you know how I feel about Christmas, right?
Oh, wait. I do know how you feel about Christmas.
Stuff is stupid, stuff is dumb. Doug hates stuff.
Yeah.
Doug hates Christmas.
Not a big fan of Christmas. And what do I hate a lot? Like maybe the most. What's the thing I despise most about Christmas?
Is it the gift giving?
It's not the gift giving. It's the holiday music. The Christmas music is like
I don't know if I knew that.
You did know that. You're just a bad listener and a bad friend. No, I can't stand.
Correct.
I don't like whenever I'm in a store. It's bad enough that when I go to Costco now for weeks, they've already had an aisle set up for Christmas decorations, which is insane. But I guess it's also Costco. I kind of give them a pass because they're like, yeah, we got everything, man. Like, what do you need? We got it in bulk. But Christmas music in particular, because it is the same music every year. And when someone's like, I'm going to make a new Christmas tune, it's like, it sounds like all the other Christmas tunes that exist out there. So, I hate that. But what I'm excited to share with you in the world today is that you may not know this, but I've got the inside track with a new artist. A new Christmas jam is coming out this holiday season. And I'm here to give you the first little taste of what this is. So hold on to your butts. It's coming for your eardrums. Yeah, guys.
Wow.
Pre-order now. Pre-order. Okay, first of all, you're going to regret that in a second. First of all, pre-order now at loveandimprovfilm.com because that song is going to be in their movie. They don't know it yet, but we're working on a licensing deal for that. This takes place during Christmas, right? What's that?
Does the ASPCA know they recorded a cat getting neutered? Because, man.
Love and Improv, that movie takes place during Christmas, right? You guys need a Christmas song? I got you covered. All right, it'll be a good price. Good price plus a standard $3,000 fee. It's just a standard industry fee. My daughter got a hold of my voice mod on my computer the other night, and she was like playing with like this holiday tune thing, and I couldn't hear it, so I hit record, and it sounds way better because it was auto-tuned than what it was in real life. When I listened to it auto-tuned, I'm like, this sounds really good.
I'm not going to lie. There was, at the very beginning, there's a small part of me that wanted to ask, Is this Natalie?
Yes, that was Natalie.
Good
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Christ on the cross. Can you play it one more time?
Yeah, one more time. Here we go. Hold on to your butt.
Stop it. I made a mistake. He's left it again. Oh, God. Right. I got so many questions about how this. Yeah. So, did she just freestyle that?
Yeah, she was just singing, just
Amazing.
and she put on my headphones. She sat here, and because she's seen this thing come, she goes, "Oh, I want to play with it." I'm like, "Go for it!" And dude, I had to tell her a couple. I had to tap her on the head. I'm like, "Hey, you don't have to. You have to sing so loud," because it was just like she's in right here going, "Ah, yeah." I'm like, "Oh my god, okay." But when I listened to it, I'm like, "Oh, it auto-tuned it. That's kind of neat. That's cool. It sounds way better than what it was." But it was really sweet, and I recorded it. And I played it back. And actually, I played it back to her last night. I shared it in our Discord. I go, "Hey, by the way, I shared that with my friends. They thought it was really cool." And I played it back to her last night. And she kind of goes like this. And she goes, "Ooh, I'm embarrassed." I'm like, "Why are you embarrassed?" She goes, "I don't like to sing in front of people." I'm like, "Oh, that's cool." I go, "Just so you know, I'm going to be playing this on the podcast." She's like, "Okay." I'm like, "You don't really know what that means, but I'm going to do it." So, yeah, I thought it was really funny, and she wanted to play with it again last night. She goes, "And can you not record me this time?" I'm like, "Sure."
Record. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, she's like, "Yeah, please don't do that." I'm like, "That's cool." And she had this really great conversation with me. She's like, "The reason why I don't like singing is because I get embarrassed, and I think people are gonna laugh at me." And I was like, "Hey, don't worry about that." I was like, she goes, "I think that people, I'm gonna feel stupid." I was like, "Listen, it takes a lot of courage to get up and do anything in front of a lot of people. Some people have a hard time speaking in front of groups of people." So I go, I used to I was kind of a teacher. I would get up in front of people and teach them things. I go, I used to get on a stage and try to make people laugh. And I go, a lot of times it didn't work. So, she goes, "You did?" I'm like, "Yeah." I go, "But it takes practice, and the more you practice, the more you get used to it." I go, it's cool, So I go, don't worry about that. I go, if you want to practice more, hell, we'll work on it. We'll get to the point where people will be like, "You sound really good." Yeah. So I go, don't worry about it.
My wish for this Christmas is that song gets played at your house on repeat, just in the mix of all the other Christmas songs.
Just sort of pops in there.
Can you send that in to 93.9 in Chicago and just see if they'll put it on rotation? Because they need to your point, they need to change that shit up.
Yeah, it was interesting to say the least. So I heard that. I was like, she's 6. So
she's 6. Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah. So I was like, I'm gonna surprise Justin. He's not gonna see this as the Christmas tune coming, because he knows how much I don't like Christmas and don't like Christmas music. So I was like, "Pow! It's a Mind Gap exclusive." In your face.
Let me say this for the record. Now that I know it was Natalie, tell her I loved it.
Of course. It's funny. I was like, "Yeah, go ahead. Give me all your insults. Give me all your insults. You're going to regret that in a second."
Yeah.
Not for a 6-year-old. That was pretty good, man. That was pretty good.
I want to do a clip of you guys reacting to that, and then cutting back to no, man, that was good. How old is she? Cool. That was great. Yeah, that was really, really good, man. That was really good. I thought that was pretty cool. Slotty says, "Doug forcibly removing the Christ from Christmas." I don't know what that means, but what? Just live Moss? Is that what you're saying, sir?
Yeah. Mary Moss.
Mary Moss.
Mary Moss.
Mary Moss. Mary Moss. Anyway, thank you for allowing me to share that.
Thank you for premiering that on Mind Gap.
Yes, it was a Mind Gap exclusive. So here you go. So Adam, have you been following sort of the AI image generation that's existing out there in the world?
I mean, it's been, I haven't followed the image generation thing particularly, but I've followed a lot of the AI growth, and they're doing AI's writing scripts now, which that is something that connects with me. But yeah.
There's been a big. Are you familiar with DALL-E?
Yeah, he's my favorite artist, actually.
Yes, of course, always everyone's favorite artist. There's an AI generation called DALL-E 2, and I think it's something you have to subscribe to right now, or it's like a closed beta that they're going to be opening up to. But you can essentially type in series of words, whatever you want, and it will generate 9 frames of, images based on what you put in. And there's like a Twitter account that posts some of those things that people have generated. A lot of them are hilarious.
For example, you could type in Doug forcibly removing the Christ from Christmas, and it would come up with an image of that.
Absolutely.
Oh.
It does. Justin and I actually dabbled with this briefly. We were working on some D&D stuff, and he actually found something. He's trying to find a picture of this character that he created, and he told me about this site, and I went to it. It was really cool, aside from the fact that you got to see what everyone else generated.
Which is horrifying.
It is disgusting. And I was like, Justin goes, I don't want to be here anymore. I'm like, I don't either. This is gross. There was one in particular where someone kept trying to get some sort of AI generated image of Christina Hendricks, and the words that they used were like thick, juicy, and a whole bunch of other stuff. And I'm like,
yeah, I got gross goosebumps just here. Like, again, this is why we can't have AI.
No, let's pull it. This is why men can't have AI. This is why men can't have AI, because this is what we go to. Like, all right, show me a picture of boobs and a vagina that, right. I really want to see. I want to make up. Yeah, it was gross. But at the same time, when the stuff that I was doing, like just coming up, because I've had all these ideas of what I thought I wanted the setting to look like, but I can't draw for shit, and I can kind of look up some stuff on Google Images, but it didn't quite get what I wanted. And I was able to find multiple things where I'm like, that's really cool. I'm going to use that for this, and I think this is becoming more and more prevalent. And in particular, I actually just found an article today that it's from Petapixel. And its photographer uses AI to resurrect stars from the dead. And basically this photographer named Alper Yeselitas, who is based out of Istanbul in Turkey, he created the hyper-realistic portraits for a project called As If Nothing Happened. And in particular, he focused on celebrities who died, and he essentially would kind of like generate what they would look like today as if they hadn't died. It's actually very, very cool. Justin, would you have a way of sharing this with Adam? Because I don't know if Adam's seen this. Could you send him the link by chance?
I've not seen that.
I think it'd be kind of cool for us to sort of take a look at this as a squad.
It's not like deep fake where they talk or anything, is it?
No. It's just a still image of the stuff, which is really cool. And
I just sent a message on our Video Ninja.
How about that? Look at that. So I'm gonna flip this over here. Go ahead, Justin.
What's interesting, because this is in some way, shape, or form, this is similar to what the police do when a kid's been missing for some time, and they have to generate. They used to have to sit there and go, okay, well, what might this kid look like now? Missing when they were 6. Now 13, what would they look like?
Yeah,
I could see this being a practical application for that. The ones that they did here, specifically Heath Ledger, horrifying.
Yeah. So
some of them don't look like who they say. Tupac looks like Tupac. That is not Kurt Cobain.
I think like Princess Diana looks real solid. I think that's a pretty good one. Kurt Cobain, yeah. I mean, how old would he be today? I mean, I guess that I can kind of see it,
Maybe.
Maybe.
John Lennon.
Lennon is a stretch for me. That's a stretch.
I mean, Tupac, I don't know. Again, I can see it. I mean, Tupac just looks thicker.
Yeah.
Heath Ledger was the one, we were talking about this earlier. He would today be, what did we say he would be? 40.
I think 42.
42? That's not a 42-year-old.
Yeah.
That's a 60-year-old Phil Collins. Like, that's not a 42-year-old.
Don't say his name. You don't say his name. He who shall not be named will appear. He has a curse on his name. If you say it, he will appear and go do. And we don't need that.
Oh, why don't I have a 0.7 seconds of that?
Because it's evil. That's why. We don't say his name.
He's the celebrity that people tell me I look like. They say I look like Phil Collins, which is...
Stop saying his name!
I said...
Jeez!
Philip?
Jeez!
The call?
God, Tom Cruise. Freddie Mercury on here looks like Mr. Feeney in Boy Meets World.
He does.
Doesn't he?
He does. Yeah. And he's wearing lederhosen for some reason.
Yeah.
I
Mr.
think
McFeeney when he's at his yodeling club.
Michael Jackson's interesting because it's like young Michael Jackson version before, like it wasn't
Before
like the
change.
recent. Yeah, before there was obviously all the surgery and things like that, which I think is a very interesting looking photo.
The Elvis one is just, I don't like that one because
Bad Photoshop.
it's just bad
Yeah.
Photoshop. Like that head's way too big for the
Look,
body.
I know
don't-
Elvis had a big head, but this body does not match that head.
He'd
So
fall over. That's not good.
also at first I looked at this, I'm like, what is he, a doctor? Like I just, as my initial thought is like he's in some sort of like doctor's coat or whatever, he's in scrubs or something. I'm like, he's not a doctor.
Oh, scrub me up, nurse.
Jimi Hendrix looks pretty, I think, pretty on point, which is interesting.
Yeah, some of these are pretty good. Yeah, some of these, the technology is still being.
Janis Joplin, I think, looks solid. I don't know. I think all these are a pretty good attempt at trying to recreate that. Because what I like about this too is it's a combination of also both the artist, like the photographer, working with the technology to create something new, which I think is really cool. I think we may get to the point where the technology does all of the work altogether and gives you exactly, what you're looking for. Because I think we had talked about this before. There's a legitimate fear that things like AI are going to take away work from, artists, illustrators, things like
Graphic
that. Like,
designers and-
even photographers to a lot of degree,
Yeah.
And in a lot of cases, I think from the film world, some stuff we had talked about is the idea of maybe you're trying to conceptualize what it is, or you want a client or someone to understand what you're trying to visualize, and you can use something like an AI to instantly pull that for like storyboards or concept art and put it out there and be like, this is kind of what we're looking to do, and can give someone an idea of like, all right, cool. Because otherwise you're like, all right, I got this idea in my head. All right, picture this. Imagine trying to pitch the Sandman, the visuals of that. All right, it's a guy that's got a little mouth with teeth for eyes. All right, and he's just going chomp, chomp, chomp. And then, you go to hell. But here's what hell looks like. It looks like there's this forest, but in the trees there's bodies, and you don't quite get the visual,
Agreed, but I'll say this: we did that for decades.
And look what we got, Justin. We got the
successfully.
Fast and the Furious franchise.
You're welcome.
Thank God.
No, and
You
that's
see
like-
where Adam and I stand on that.
right? We did it. Mission accomplished. No, of course we did this before. I'm just saying that this could potentially make it quicker, possibly easier, possibly cheaper. It can move because these are the things about AI that I like, which is taking the mundane and streamlining it so that we can focus on the more abstract stuff, so to speak. I know that, again, everything I'm a proponent of doesn't affect me personally. I'm like, yeah, it's great. Oh no.
There's a lot of artists who do storyboards for livings that
course.
were not happy with this.
Absolutely. And I totally respect that. Again, me personally, I'm like, this is great. Because I personally can just go, show me this, and then I can pull it up and be like, this is very close to what I was imagining, or maybe just slightly different. I'm like, and I can use this, and that's what I need. And I would hate to deny an artist the opportunity to do that, but then I would have to contact them. I would have to tell them what I'm looking for. We'd have to go through iterations. We would have to,
You mean the creative process, Doug?
Exactly. And it can go, which again is fine, but knowing that there's a different and possibly faster process out there excites me, because it's less time spent doing that, more time spent doing other things, and can also potentially lower costs, which means,
Sounds capitalistic to me.
I mean, it doesn't hurt. You know what I'm saying? You know what I mean?
Adam, are you as a filmmaker, are you at all concerned about the ability for AI? Right now we've got AI that can write scripts and screenplays, but I mean it's moving towards image generation for if you're doing some sort of an animated or CG shot or actual full film. I'm sure eventually that we're going to get to the point where you can probably have AI edit and make decisions on that kind of stuff. Like, are you concerned at all about this encroaching on your/our industry?
I honestly think anybody should be if you're in the industry, and I think actually audiences should be too. There was a really funny sketch with like I think it was Thomas Middleditch and somebody else, a couple of people. They actually like filmed a script that AI wrote. It was a riot because everything was weird.
It was absurd.
And he's standing in space. It was hilarious. But like when they started doing I'm trying to remember what the first film I saw where they brought back an actor who had died. I know there's Princess Leia came back and
they did it in Gladiator. They did it in the Hunger Games. Yeah, we've seen it a couple of times.
Yeah, it bothers me because at some point in time, I mean, you're going to have these producers and the big production companies who are just interested in making money. They know people will come back and they'll pay a lot of money to keep seeing these stars. So why do they need to hire a new actor? Why do we need to have another actor have a different interpretation of the character? I mean, it's if we're already in that situation where the cliche is true, there's nothing new coming out of Hollywood. It's all remakes and a fifth sequel to like some movie franchise that was popular back in the 70s and 80s. They're going to cut the corners and they're going to go that way. So it does bother me. It stifles creativity, and there's a lot of people out there who are coming up with cool new ideas, and they should have a fair shot of getting those ideas out there. When it's going to be more expensive, but why would you use that when you can CGI and have some computer write you a script and put Marlon Brando together with David Bowie?
Yeah,
that's a weird combination.
I mean, they're already kind of doing this. I mean, Bruce Willis, he basically sold his likeness to a production company to do a cell phone commercial over in Russia. And essentially they just deep faked his with permission. They paid for it. They used his likeness, deep faked it, and his face is there for a commercial in Russia. So that's
weird.
Already happening.
Yeah.
I would say, like, I listened to this podcast called Dudesy, which is apparently run by an AI, which is amazing to me. Justin has his doubts, but I find it very interesting. And one of the guys on it, Chad Kulchin, is a huge proponent of AI and technology. And his thought is into the future. He goes, eventually, you're going to type in what you want to watch, and an AI is going to generate everything for you. You're going to basically have your own specific, like, show built just for you that you can then watch and binge watch and get hooked into, and it's going to be instantly created. As an audience member, how do you feel about that possibility? And as a creator, how do you feel about that, if the future were to come true?
As an audience member, I mean, like, yeah, there's something nice to be able to say, like, I want to watch a superhero movie with, the hero has the power to shoot waffles out of his eyeballs, and it happens. But at the same time, like, some of my favorite, I think what makes really good, really memorable content, really memorable TV shows and movies is, and this is going to sound so cheesy, but it's like the writer, the director, the filmmakers, like, feeling. They're putting their soul out there and making it available to you. And I think that's what people end up connecting with. I'm gonna go hug a tree afterwards. But as a creator, it's the same type of thing. There is a very strong drive as a creative person to create something. I can't remember who it is, but someone was talking about, like, writing is easy. You just take a piece of paper out and you cut yourself and bleed on the page or something like that. But, like, yeah, there's a drive to get. I got this idea. I got to get this out. Like the idea, like the film that we're making, like Love and Improv. It was something that we are all passionate about. It's an area we're all passionate about. It's something we want to get out on paper. It might not be something that an audience member is going to say, you know what, I'd love to see. But if it's available to you and you can see the passion that we put into it, you're gonna like it. So I think art was always something that I thought was never going to be touched by the whole automation AI thing. And then it is starting to, and it does. I'm not a fan, to put it that way. Yeah.
I think I just have one issue, with what you said, Adam, and that you're implying that the AI doesn't have a soul.
I will be explicit with I don't think the AI has a soul.
Yeah, but
I'm gonna be
see,
the
the
first
thing
to go
is,
with-
AIs are working on building souls as we speak. So it's going to put the soul creator workers out of work. But AI is going to automate it. It's going to be faster. It's going to be smoother. It's going to be streamlined. So then those people can find something else to work on.
The
you know?
souls will be less glitchy.
Yeah, right?
Yeah, that's
For
true.
sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Justin, how do you feel
they're all-
about that?
But they're all going to look like old Jimi Hendrix.
There you go. Perfect. Perfection.
Which I'm okay with, if I'm going to be honest. No, I'm in the same boat as Adam in that I don't even think as an audience member I want the ability to say, show me this exact thing I'm thinking of. Like part of what I find enjoyable about consuming content is following people that I like and seeing what they put out. You know what I mean? Like, so it's like for Ryan Reynolds, for example, I really enjoy following what he does both in the marketing world and in his film career. And whatever he comes up with, I enjoy his creations instead of me dictating, hey, you make a thing for me and I want to see this thing. I would argue if I want to see that thing, go fucking make that thing. Like I should go make that thing. If you want to see a thing, go make the thing. That's just my personal stance where I enjoy following the artist and getting and consuming what the artist that I like, what they put out. From a artist standpoint, I think it's horrifying and I do not like it at all. I think it's horrible. AIs don't have souls and, hot take and yay. And I do think, I don't know. I don't know that you'd be able, I will admit that I probably, if you gave me a fully tuned up AI script that it wasn't the one that Thomas Middleditch
Right.
did. Like it wasn't, all bonkers. If they worked out all the kinks and they got a really good AI to write the script, and then you got Paul Thomas Anderson to write a script. I don't know that I'd be able to tell the difference. I'm not sure that I'd be able to pass the what's that test?
Turing test.
The Turing test with that. That being said, the idea, the concept, the feeling of something being created by a person resonates much better with me than something just being generated in mass by a computer.
That's interesting. This is obviously an extreme radical idea of how we would consume and create content that we've never seen before. So the idea of being like, oh, I'm going to surrender this to some sort of technology to create my version of Star Wars that will obviously be superior to what exists. And I can watch it and enjoy it in the comfort of my own home.
You know what it feels like? It feels like a Black Mirror episode.
It does, 100%.
It feels like episode 2 of season 1.
But here's the thing, Justin. Not all the Black Mirror episodes are bad. Some of them are good, and this could be one of the good ones.
3 of them are good.
Yeah, this could be one of the 3. So,
Mm-hmm.
that's all I'm saying. Yeah.
I'm just saying. I'm not saying. I'm just saying.
I'm just
You know
saying.
what? The creation, it sounds, Doug, like you're okay with it.
I'm curious. Not sure. I would need to see an example. I would need to try it. And I would need to sit there and I need to examine it. I need to have to go through the pros and the cons. I'd have to go through a process.
See, people say the same thing about heroin, Doug, and then they're hooked.
Mm-hmm.
I have to try it.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly.
But it doesn't, to me, it doesn't sound practical. And I know you, Doug, you're a practical sort of guy.
Goddamn right I am.
And in fact, I think, Dudesy,
You got the questions, we got the answers. All you do is ask. Practical, 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 practical. Ask Practical Doug.
so we borrowed Dudesy to be the producer of the show, and Dudesy said that it was time for the Ask Practical Doug segment, and that's what happened.
Thanks,
so,
Dudesy.
AI is real. You're welcome. That was not a great bit for those watching, but those who are listening to the audio, man, they're not going to know what hit them.
Like, what?
So if you've never been here before for an Ask Practical Doug, there's a small Doug that lives inside large Doug, and the small Doug is known as Practical Doug, and Practical Doug guides large Doug in all of life's journeys. Doug uses him as a compass, if you will. So our audience, our crew, our community likes to ask Practical Doug questions from time to time. If you'd like to ask Practical Doug a question, you can either join us live on Tuesdays at 7 p.m. Central. You can join our Discord. There's an actual channel for Ask Practical Doug questions, or any social medias at MindGap Podcast. You can hashtag Ask Practical Doug, and you might get your question answered. Today's Ask Practical Doug question, and Adam, we're going to want you to weigh in on this too, is from Slotty. He says, if your toilet was sentient, would you rather it crave your bodily waste or hate you for it?
Holy crap.
And I would like to start with one of our soundboards farts. Yes.
Well,
that's me after the one chip challenge.
Yeah, right? So make it happen. So my thoughts on this, it's funny because I used to think about this when I was eating food, particularly when I was eating cereal when I was a kid. I was sitting there like, man, if this cereal was real, would it be happy that I'm eating it? Or would it be like, oh God, don't consume me? And I always
went, Lord, spare us.
I always went with, I think they'd be thrilled. They'd be like, yay! So when that movie Sausage Party by Seth Rogen came out, and I was like, oh my God, this is something I used to think about as a kid. They're like, yay! They're picking me to be eaten. But in that movie, they're like, oh my God, it hurts. I don't want to be eaten. Like, it was kind of like both sides of that scenario in my head. It was like, I was like, oh my God, are they in my head? Do they know what I think about? So I look at this in a couple ways, in a very practical way. On a moral level, I would prefer the toilet to be like, thank God, sustenance, right? Please feed me. I like this, as opposed to something that's like, please don't do this, because it feels like torture. You know what I mean? Like I don't want to do that. But it also depends on how emphatic the toilet is in either direction. Because if I walk into the bathroom and I turn on the light and I hear, oh good, oh good, oh good, yes, 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 fill me up, daddy, fill me up, give it to me. And like I open up the lid, it's just going, and I'd be like, I don't, this is making me feel really uncomfortable. It's like, don't tease me, get it in there, I'm starving. In
this scenario, the toilet has a tongue.
Yeah, it does. It has a fleshy tongue.
You've given it a tongue, yeah.
Yeah, it's just sitting there and be like, get it in here. Because if it's just like starving, it craves it. I know what it's like when I crave something. I'm pretty, I have a pretty rabid approach to how I get there. And if it's just like, it's very unsettling. I'm like, I'm not excited to go in here because maybe you walk by, it's like, is it time? It whispers, you coming in? Is it time? Papa hungry. It's just this horrible, horrible thing. Now, the flip side is also pretty horrifying. You walk in, you turn on the light, and it just starts going, you go pee, it's like you're waterboarding it, it's like, you have to take a shit, God forbid. It's like, oh no. What did you eat? You had hot sauce? How many things of hot sauce?
It starts retching as you.
Yeah. It's like, it just screams in horror the whole time you're doing it. And you're sitting there guilty as you're pooping. Right. It's like, get off your phone. Just get this over with. Stop looking at your text messages. No one's texting you. Get off of me. Are we done?
It's too much paper. I can't swallow it all.
You get a bidet, God damn it. You bastard. This is horrible.
All right, so that's the two sides of it. So which would you rather?
I would probably go for it craving my waste, because at least there's some semblance of enjoyment, as annoying and unsettling as it would be. I would rather have that than, walking into a room and feeling like I'm committing some sort of crime,
Sure. That makes sense.
Towards this sentient toilet. So that's where I stand. Adam, what do you think? Adam. Where do you weigh in on this?
I see what you're talking about. I mean, as far as the emphatic nature, how with how much gusto do they like? Because it's like, if you go to a masseuse and you're getting a massage, I think it's acceptable to make a couple of noises like, that's good. But like, again, there's a huge difference between and oh yeah. Like, you'll probably not be allowed back depending on your level
If you're just like deeper, harder.
Hold it. Okay. So my initial leaning is I would prefer it to crave it, but crave is a strong word.
It is.
I feel like you should be happy in your job.
Yeah.
So that's why I lean that way.
I agree.
I think you should be happy in your job. Yes. Yeah, I think that's a fair distinction. Is crave is a very it's the operative and a very strong word in this scenario. But I have to agree. I feel like you gotta go with the craving. Otherwise, I do feel like I'm committing a crime, an atrocity, if you will. Yeah,
absolutely.
Slotty goes in the chat. He goes, Adam has the enlightened point of view here.
Yes, he does.
Guys are gonna be happy with your job.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh my
God.
God.
I can't imagine living my whole life going into a bathroom and just basically having this sentient being be like, I hate you. It's like a Count of Monte Cristo situation. It's plotting its way to get out and get revenge on me, and take everything I have. And it's like, it haunts me in my dreams, and finally it gets free, and it's like, it gets me in this perfect, Machiavelli situation. And I'm sitting there going, how could you do this? It's like, you shat in me for years. I'm like, I had to do it somewhere. It's like, fuck you. And then it like kills me somehow. Like, I don't know. I don't know how it does it, but it murders me. It gets its revenge. And I'm like, I don't want to do that.
I feel like we need to enter this scenario into an AI program and let it produce a script for us.
I feel like it could be a great horror film, a revenge horror film. Got it.
Don't go into the bathroom.
All right. I think that was a solid one. Way to go. No pun intended. Pun intended. Who knows? But hope you enjoyed it if you're a toilet. All right. It is decided. There we go. Slotty, thank you for the suggestion. I appreciate that. That one came in and I was like, you're speaking my language, pal. I appreciate you. The best part of that was it came in as a meme. And I just kind of like did it plainly, but it was a meme from like Sopranos. And it was, I haven't seen it, but it's one of the characters like, Tone, if your toilet was sentient, would you rather it crave your bodily waste or hate you for it? It turns to Tony, he goes, I can't have this conversation again. Like, he's just like, I'm not going to do this. Like, I won't do it. All right.
Yeah.
So I thought that was funny,
Very cool.
Woo!
There it is. Adam, this is the point in the evening where we ask for recommendations. So what do you got as far as either books you're reading, video games, recipes, movies you're watching? Recommend something to us. What are you enjoying that our fans should enjoy too?
Okay, yeah, you're going to love this one. So a friend of mine had recommended this movie to me. So I decided to check it out. It's currently streaming on Amazon Prime. It's called The Greasy Strangler.
Oh, I've heard of this.
Holy Lord. It is, I watched it. It's very Napoleon Dynamite-esque, where it's like all the characters are losers and they have this very grandiose idea of what their life is and it doesn't match reality. But it's like Napoleon Dynamite with a lot of horrible nudity and really campy gore. It is, strap yourself in for it, but it's enjoyable if you like cheesy bad horror movie stuff. A legitimate like good recommendation. I've been watching Sandman right now, and it's fantastic.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Let me ask you a question. Are you familiar with the source material?
Not really. I think that sort of hit when I was kind of dying down on my interest in comics. But I mean, I know like Neil, is it Gaiman?
Neil Gaiman, yeah.
Neil Gaiman, yeah, I love him. Like everything he's done is fantastic. So yeah, I like his stuff. I never followed the comics very much, but yeah, the shows, I genuinely know the characters and the gist behind it. But yeah, it's beautifully shot, beautifully acted. It's Neil Gaiman. It's fantastically written. It's awesome.
Yeah.
We were wondering, Doug and I are both huge fans of both the source material and the show, and we were wondering if how someone who was not overly familiar with the source material would take to the show. And so we've been, anyone that we find that is watching it that doesn't know, super familiar with the source material, we're very curious to see how they're liking it. So sounds like
It's funny you bring that up, Justin, because I got a text about 20 minutes before we started recording from our friend Sam, who was watching it with his girlfriend, and he was like, "If you watch the Sandman," he's like, "What do you think of it?" And I told him, I go, "How about you?" He goes, "I'm 4 episodes in," and I'm like, "I don't know. It's a lot to digest. It's a lot to understand the universe and the world." And I was like, "Do you have any questions?" I'm like, "I'll blow off this fucking podcast. You ask me anything right now, and I will answer it for you. I'm here for you."
Yeah.
And we had a nice little discussion.
Just wait till you get to episode 5, Sam.
I was like, episode 6 is my favorite, hands down. That one was great. The sound of her wings was easily my favorite. It's one of my favorite parts of the comic. And the mini episode, the short stories that they added after the fact was also just so good. Loved it. So anyway, yes, wonderful. Couldn't agree more. Also, I remember seeing the trailer for The Greasy Strangler years ago because I just like to go to Apple trailers and just see what's coming out. I was like, that looks like an interesting film, like just unique style, unique look. So interesting. I think I'll have to try and find that and check that out.
I need to look up the trailer for that. I have not.
It's something.
Pour yourself a good drink before you start watching that one.
Done.
Interesting. Justin, what do you got?
And
I'm going to recommend Welcome to Wrexham. It is on FX/Hulu. Ryan Reynolds and Rob McElhenney bought a Welsh football team, and in the town of Wrexham AFC, and the show is a documentary series about them buying it and trying to turn the club around. So the team has fallen to the lowest tier that you can in the lowest league that you can in their tiered structure. And so they've been relegated all the way to the bottom and been that way for years. And so they bought this team with the hope of turning it around and eventually want to get them back up to the Premier League, which is where the best of the best, the teams that that's where they play, is the Premier League. And so it's just really interesting to watch. Rob McElhenney, if you don't know, he plays Mac on Always Sunny in Philadelphia and from Mythic Quest. Just the two of them together and just this journey they're on. It's very odd that the two of them got into this together. And, McElhenney makes the joke at the very beginning. He's like, it was his idea. And he's like, I always grew up as an Eagles fan and everything in Philadelphia. And I understand the underdog story. And, when I heard about Wrexham, this and this, but it takes a lot of money to buy a football club. It takes, more money. I have TV money, but it takes movie star money. It takes superhero movie star money. It takes gin money. It takes mobile phone money. It takes, and he just kind of rattled off. He goes, so there's only one person I could call, and just the fact that Reynolds went for it. It's just an interesting story. Also, very interesting to learn about the town of Wrexham and the country of Wales. So I would strongly recommend it. Half-hour episodes, I think. There's 17 episodes in the first season. They're still releasing them every week. So check it out. It's a fun, very lighthearted, easy watch.
Cool.
Doug, what do you got?
I just started watching an anime on Netflix called Cyberpunk 2077 Edge Runners. Or Cyberpunk Edge Runners. It's based on the Cyberpunk 2077 universe. It's pretty cool. I'm almost through the first 2 episodes. It's pretty violent. And it's interesting. Essentially, if you're not familiar with that universe, it's kind of I don't know if I'd say dystopian future, but it's tech is pretty big and people can augment their bodies with different things, and it's following this young teen who's just down on his luck, is single parent home, and he doesn't have a lot of money. He's bullied at this prestigious school, and he's kind of trying to figure out what to do, and he comes into contact with this like cybernetic stuff that gives him pretty powerful abilities, and he's currently not using them for good. So it's interesting. So it came as a high recommendation. So I'm curious to check it out and see what it's about. But so far it's interesting. So I'll keep you posted. I'll give you my final review once I get through with it. But so far its animation is really well done. Music's
Might we
cool,
get an anime out of context from this?
Possibly. I mean, I should try that as a challenge to do like a good anime and do an anime out of context scene from that to see, actually that could be interesting with this because you'd be like, what the fuck? I'm like, yeah, right?
That's what most anime with
holy shit.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's what I'd recommend.
Cool.
Adam, thanks so much for being here with us tonight. This was great. As we wrap up here, please tell everyone where they can find you, where they can follow you, and all that good stuff.
So come check out our YouTube channel. It's called Smoose Entertainment. That's Moose with an S at the beginning of it. We've got some of our shorts. We've got some trailers and some episodes of Quarantine Files that I did with our good friend Justin down here. Check out Love and Improv film.com, and you can check out, and you'll find a link to the Seed and Spark campaign. Also, I was told, I don't know if anybody likes my shirt. This was made by a good friend of mine, Snowman Films.
I've been looking at your shirt all night. So it says write, shoot, edit, upload, repeat. It's a really cool, like 3/4 length baseball tee.
Yeah, I like it a lot. That's a good friend of mine who's a filmmaker out here in Denver, the Denver area. And so he's got a website called snowmanfilms.shop where you can get this, and you can get a lot of material for filmmakers and other creators. So please go check that out. And but yeah, donate to the Seed and Spark, and let's make my butt burn, I guess.
Yeah. That's a soundbite I want to isolate. Let's make my butt burn. Also, you can follow MindGap on all social medias at MindGap Podcast. Please check out our YouTube channel, youtube.com/MindGapPodcast. Hit that like button, hit subscribe. It'd be great. And if you could please leave us a comment. Leave us a comment on any of the stuff that you see there. You see our shorts, you see our segments, you see our episodes, you see our live streams. Come check us out for our live streams, podcasts. Live streams are on Tuesdays at 7 p.m. Central. I host a video game podcast on Saturdays at 8 p.m. Central. Come hang out. Come check us out. We appreciate the love. We appreciate the subs. We appreciate the support. You're all the best. And don't forget to follow Justin as well.
On Instagram and Twitter at Justin_Michael, spelled Mikel. It's the fun way of spelling it. And while you're in the online realm, check us out on Apple Podcasts, Stitcher, Google Podcasts, Podbean, Good Pods, all the places where you can find and consume podcasts. You can find and consume us, and then do the thing where you share and rate, review, and follow and all that jazz. And then 2east8th.com and 2east8th on all social medias. And like Adam said, loveandimprovfilm.com. Go to the Seed and Spark campaign. Anything you can. If money's really tight and you can't even spare $1, share the campaign. Just let people know that this campaign's out there. The movie's happening. And then on Instagram and Twitter, Love and Improv Film. And then Adam, give me the name of the website one more time for your friend with the shirt, because I'm actually going to buy one of those shirts.
Yeah, snowmanfilms.shop.
There you go.
Yeah.
Bam. Well, another wonderful podcast. Adam, it's such a pleasure to have you back again. This was so much fun. I always love having you back here. It's always a great conversation. So thank you so much for making the time to hang out with us.
Thanks, Schmoopy.
Aww. And with that, I'll say, Justin, thank you.
Douglas, thank you.
Chat, thank you.
Listeners, thank you.
And you all have a dandy fucking week.
MindGap Podcast.